So welcome, Olivers. Today is another special session of Olive Connect and Create. I know the month of Ramadan is upon many of us who are following the different, requirements for the month, but dates are definitely something that are a highlight for all of us. It also happens to be April, the month of April, which is actually Arab American Heritage Month. And you know that dates are something that is a part of that heritage for thousands and thousands of years. I was doing a little bit of research, and it turns out that California dates, which are known around the world, actually is something that's not native to California. Please mute yourselves if possible so that we can hear each other better. So the dates were actually brought to California in the late 1700s by, Spanish missionaries. So I think that's it's a beautiful gift of the Middle East. Came all the way here to us in California that we got. So we have these beautiful date palms, and I understand the season is going on right now as well. I'm sure you're enjoying dates from our very own Coachella Valley. Many of you, if you're getting local dates. So I think it is a great session to have at this month, not only of its significance, but also in honoring of our Arab American, brothers and sisters out there. So today our speaker is Fiona. She is somebody who many of you have known over the years. She's been leading several Olive sessions in the past, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce her again for our new Olivers. Fiona Motala is a culinary and design enthusiast. She was born in Johannesburg, South Africa, and immigrated to California 21 years ago, where she now resides with her husband and 3 kids. Being African is in her blood. She grew up in nature, and exploration and outdoor adventure is a huge part of who she is. She is an art and wilderness hike leader, a debate coach, and loves traveling. She loves to grow and learn with her community. Fiona is also a very, very dear friend to me, so I'm so happy she was able to take time from her very busy schedule to be here today. So welcome, Fiona.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much. Ramadan Mubarak, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to be able to share with you all the fun ways that I love to stuff and do my dates up for Ramadan and share with my family. So today we're going to be covering 7 different types of stuffed dates. Who knew you could stuff them so many ways, and so many other ways that we're not even going to be covering? I was like trying to run out of I was getting so many ideas. I was like, okay, I have to try and find a way to narrow it down so that I don't overwhelm everyone with all my fun different ways of stuffing dates. So what I decided to do is I decided to base the majority of the theme for the stuffed dates today on the prophetic foods of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As we know, it's sunnah to eat dates when breaking our fast. So I thought I'd incorporate a few other prophetic foods in the combination with our date pairings today. So to begin with, I'm going to show, I'm not sure if everybody is able to see my board, but these are the 7 different ways of stuffing that we're going to cover today. And to start with, I'm going to start with one of my favorite ways of stuffing dates with mascarpone cheese, spicy chopped cashews, and cucumbers. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to eat cucumbers with his dates because they're very cooling, because dates are considered to be very hot. And so he would combine dates with cucumbers so that it was cooling on the system. So the way we're going to make this date is, and I've already de-seeded my dates and removed the seed. I always check my dates, which is also sunnah, to open up your dates and make sure that you don't have any worms inside your dates. So I've already de-seeded the dates. And everything that we're using today, I thought I'd just say that I'm not being paid for this promotion. It's been used by Trader Joe's. Every single thing that I'm using today is from Trader Joe's. So it's a one-stop shop. You can get everything from there. So the first thing I'm going to show you is my mascarpone. I absolutely love pairing my dates with mascarpone cheese because it doesn't have a very overwhelming flavor. It's neutral, so it's just creamy and delicious, and so it doesn't overpower the flavor of the dates. So I've taken my mascarpone and I've already prepared in a piping bag. I put it in a piping bag because it's easier. It's easier to just nozzle it out. So what I do is I just nozzle the mascarpone into the date, into the center of the date, like this. And I bought these delicious chili garlic cashews. Sometimes I like to use sriracha pecans, but I liked this combination. I tried it recently and I thought it was quite delicious. So what I do is I crunch up my chili garlic cashews and I sprinkle them onto the dates over the mascarpone, just like this. And it adds a bit of a spicy crunch to the date, which is delicious, paired with the cucumbers and the mascarpone cheese. And I'm not sure if everybody can get a look at this. It's beautiful.
So is that date number 1?
That was date number 1. And now for date number 2, which is actually very easy. I'm going to be using a fruit that was mentioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, pomegranates. Also a sunnah food, a very easy date stuff in this instance. So you could do this one of 2 ways. You could stuff your date with the mascarpone cheese, and I always recommend stuffing your date with mascarpone because it just takes the flavor and the deliciousness to a whole nother level. But if you prefer not to have that creaminess, or perhaps you have an intolerance for dairy, it's just as flavorful. I simply take my pomegranate seeds and stuff them into the center of the dates, just like this. And this specific date is light. It's very cooling. The pomegranates add a tart as well as crunchy texture. And on a very hot day, when you're breaking your fast and you don't want anything too heavy, you just want to have a light, refreshing date, I would highly recommend this one. It's absolutely delicious and it looks beautiful. So that was date number 2. The next date I'm going to show you is my favorite pairing. Many years ago, I visited the Middle East and I visited a very famous date store. It's a date boutique that they have. And I was just in awe of all the different varieties of ways of stuffing dates, on pairing different flavors with dates. And this flavor in particular was very, very interesting to me. And so I wanted to share it with you today. I purchased my dried oranges online from Amazon. They actually have a company that sells these dried orange, candied oranges. They're from Spain, from Seville, Spain. I love this inside my dates. I take these oranges and I cut them into tiny pieces and I simply stuff them into my dates. And I can't explain to you the combination of the bitter rind from the orange together with the dates and the candied flavor from the orange is just superb. It's something that I encourage all of you to try. It looks very pretty. It's a very simple date, but it's packed with so much flavor and it's very, very unique. This is one of my favorite ways to have my dates. So that's date number 3. The next date that I'm going to share with everyone is one that actually was very popular. Years back, I actually used to do date boxes for people for Ramadan. And one of the most highly requested dates that I had at that time was my famous maple pecan mascarpone date. So I'm going to share with you that recipe today. And the way we make that date is we take our mascarpone that I've already pre-prepared for the rest of the dates, and I've cleaned out and de-seeded this date. I'm going to fill this one with the mascarpone, and I like to put a little bit extra for this one. So I pipe my mascarpone into my date, just like that. And then I use candied pecans, which are also available from Trader Joe's, or you could make them on your own. I take a candied pecan and I simply place it into the center of the mascarpone cheese like this. And then I take a drizzling of maple syrup And I know this sounds very rich, but it actually isn't at all. It's absolutely delicious. The maple syrup, you don't have to put a lot. You just simply drizzle it onto the date. Combined with the mascarpone and the pecan, I'm not sure if everybody's able to get a peek at this deliciousness.
We just wanted to come out of the screen.
So this is definitely my most requested date. And the interesting thing about this date is you can leave it just like this and have it cool with the mascarpone and the maple syrup with the pecan, or you could even make them up and pop them in the oven and serve them slightly warmed, which is absolutely delicious because then the date caramelizes and the flavors all come together, and you can actually serve this date cold or warm. So definitely try this date. And if you do try any of the dates, please let me know what you thought about the flavor pairings. Because
what temperature do you put it in the oven?
I would just put it at 350 and you just put it in for about 10 minutes. Because the mascarpone also, it's almost like baking it, but you're warming it and slightly baking the flavors together for about 10 minutes. It's delicious, absolutely delicious. And then the next flavor that we're going to do is something that's very unique. So the interesting thing about dates is you can have them savory as well as sweet. I'm not sure if any of you have ever seen paleo diets are very popular, keto diets, and people like to have their dates and then they wrap them in. Sometimes they wrap them in some sort of cold cut, or they serve them with cream cheese and savory items. So today I wanted to take a very unique savory item that you wouldn't actually usually consider when having your dates, but it's absolutely delicious. And once again, I'm going to use the mascarpone filling that I absolutely love when pairing my dates. I prefer this over cream cheese, over whipped cream, because like I said, it's very neutral in flavor. It's very creamy, and it doesn't interfere with the flavor pairings. Whatever it is you're pairing it, it just simply enhances the flavor. So once again, I'm going to pipe the mascarpone into the center of the date, like I previously showed you. And now I'm going to show you my very, very favorite savory way to enhance the flavor of your dates using crispy jalapeno pieces. So my mascarpone stuffed date, and I simply just take the jalapeno pieces and center them. You can put as many as you want. It adds a crunch, it adds a bit of spice, and the creaminess from the mascarpone, it's just delicious.
That needs a warning with it.
So this is date number 5. Okay, now on to date number 6. Date number 6 is a very traditional date. Like Zainab previously mentioned, April is for Arab food. That's what all over the world, you'll see if you have the Instagram hashtag, it's like April for Arab food month. And so people are encouraged to try their favorite Arabian recipes or Middle Eastern recipes. And so this specific date is very traditional. The flavor pairing is something that was inspired from one of my trips when I performed Umrah during the month of Ramadan. And if you've ever been for Umrah in the month of Ramadan, you know that in the Haram, they prepare iftar for every single person that attends. And a very popular flavor, a very popular spice from the Middle East is something called a dukka. So I know that not everybody would be able to purchase dukka from the Middle East, which is one that I prefer. I personally purchase my dukka from Medina, and this is the brand that I typically use when seasoning my yogurt or any of my Arabic dairy products. But Trader Joe's, surprisingly, has an absolutely delicious version of dukka. And I use this actually more than my Medina dukka. I use this in salads. I use this over my dairy, my yogurt. And it's great. And I actually have it right now. It's seasonal. And it just so happened to be in time for Ramadan. I highly recommend you go out and purchase this dukka. It's absolutely delicious. It's a combination of nuts and kosher salt. It's got coriander seeds, and it also has fennel seed somf for those that love that specific flavor. So it really brings all the flavors together. So this traditional date that we're about to make is a traditional date with labne and dukka. So the way we make this date is we simply take the de-seeded date, fill it with some lemon, and sprinkle it with some dukkha. It seems simple, but the flavor from the dukkha, like I said, is very, very complex. There's somph and nuts, like I said, and it brings out the flavor of the labneh. And this is a traditional and delicious date to have with iftar. And that was date number 6. And now we're down to our last and final date.
Wow, you're eating too, Fiona.
I'm sorry, but we can talk after. We can discuss the flavor pairings. I can give you other options.
Oh, yeah, take your time.
I'm sorry. I wasn't sure how fast I should go. I can go back, and I can stop before we go to the final date. And we can, if anybody wants to ask me questions.
Yes.
Or do you want to do that after? What would you prefer?
Yeah, we'll do the questions in the end. Sure.
Okay. So the last and final date is also one of my favorite. I think all of these dates, I'm just going to admit, are my favorite dates because I love dates, which is why I love to pair different flavors with them and stuff them with all kinds of things. And years ago, I actually I was traveling through Paris, and I ended up visiting a very famous bakery they called Fouchon Bakery, and they make a famous rose petal jam. Now, I know not all of us are able to go to Paris and purchase our Fouchon jam, and neither am I. I haven't had it in years, but I was able to find a delicious substitute at my local Arab store that carries rose jam. And I'm not sure if any of you have ever tried rose jam, but it's delicious. The flavoring, it's not overwhelmingly rose flavored like rose water. It's a very subtle rosed flavor. And this particular jam that I purchased was actually from Turkey, and I found it in my local Arab store. It has fresh rose petals inside, and it's absolutely delicious. So like I was saying, I ended up using that jam to stuff dates. And there's 2 ways that you could make your rose jam. Your rose date is number 1, you could take your pre-pitted dates and simply just add some rose jam into the center, not too much. And I know some of you might be thinking, oh, this must be overly sweet, but it really isn't, because rose jam is very, very subtle in flavor. And I just simply add some rose jam and some dried rose petals. And now I have my delicious rose flavored dates. What you could also do is you could take your pre-pitted date. And once again, my handy trick that brings out the flavor, stuff it with mascarpone, which I always recommend. Drizzle it with a little bit of jam, rose jam, just a little bit. And top it with rose petals. Voila. I'm telling you, ladies, if you do this for your family, it's going to be a real treat. It looks absolutely beautiful, and everybody will wonder, wow, the dates are going into a whole new bougie tradition.
Can you see your space now with all the dates that you made?
Yes, I can actually show
on your
you
camera.
my phone.
I put it on your.
You did?
Focus on your table, yes.
Okay, and I can even do it like this if you want, so that you can. So over here we have the spicy cashews with the cucumbers and mascarpone cheese, which is date number 1. This is date number 2, the pomegranate seeds. This was date number 3, the Seville oranges from Spain, the candied oranges. Date number 4, and one of my favorite dates, is the mascarpone with pecans, candied pecans, and maple syrup. Date number 5 was the stuffed with mascarpone and crunchy jalapenos. Date number 6 was the labneh and dukkha flavored dates. And date number 7 was the rose jam either with mascarpone, which we have in the front, or just rose jam and rose petal dates. And there we have it, a tray with 7 different ways to serve your dates.
One more that comes to my mind, Fiona, is since you have labneh, and doesn't labneh go good with cucumbers? You could probably put labneh.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now that we have all these flavors together, you can absolutely use your imagination and pair all kinds of flavors. You can stuff the mascarpone with the pomegranate if you want to, like I suggested. We could do it as Zainab said, take the labneh and stuff it with the dates. And this would be very cooling, and the cucumbers. You could even add the cucumbers with the dukka if you wanted to. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can do this. That you can mix and match your different flavors, and it's absolutely delicious. And it's really going to take your experience of eating dates and breaking your fast to a different level.
Well, I'll be eating 8 dates. That's what's going to happen because I want to try all of them.
Yeah.
Oliver.
I do labneh and mini chocolate chips.
Oh, that's interesting.
That tastes very good. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
All right, Oliver, this gives us room for questions and even comments. I'm sure there's many of you in the audience who have tried other types of dates as well. I know there's a lot of culinary experts in the room. Please share and ask Fiona questions if you have anything in mind.
And Fiona, the jam is available in Super Irvine, the rose petal jam.
I'm not sure.
No, it is. It is because I get it from.
Perfect.
I get it from them, and it is so delicious. And little bit on vanilla ice cream also tastes so good.
Oh, perfect. That sounds wonderful.
Yes.
That sounds like a good Ramadan dessert too. Yes, so there we go. Your jam is available at Super Irvine.
Yeah, and Harvest, you know what is that? Harvest Fresh?
Yes, yes.
Fresh Choice or whatever. They also have that.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
Well,
Jazakallah khair for sharing that with us.
Narmeen the other day shared, was it some kind of molasses that you brought for your
pomegranate molasses.
Yeah, I think that would be also something, right? Similar to the rose jam, but a little more tangy. It's not as
yes, that would be more tangy. Yes, absolutely. Another
saying I cannot hear anything. Well, I'm probably log out and log back in. Oh, let me put a message for them.
I've I've used almond butter with pomegranate seeds before, and they taste it tastes really good, surprisingly good.
Yes, peanut butter. People love to use Biscoff in their Biscoff cookie spread in their dates. Nutella is another option. The other day I was actually following one of these Instagram bloggers, and she paired her dates with mascarpone cheese and fried onions. And I thought that sounded delicious. Very similar to the way the crispy jalapenos would be. I love caramelized onions on anything really, and I'm sure that must be delicious. Another way, which I didn't demonstrate today because it's a bit time consuming, but my mom makes her dates every Ramadan. She takes her dates, she de-seeds them, and she wipes them down with rose water. Then she takes them and she adds them into a pot with ghee, and she sautés them with cream and a little bit of milk and cardamom powder. And then she pops it into the oven overnight for like 6 to 8 hours. So it's almost like making barfi because the milk becomes like a marwa and it absorbs into the dates, makes them really soft, very mushy. And then in the morning, she uses a spoon and she makes it into a paste. And then she rolls them into balls and dips them into pistachios, coconuts, and rose petals.
Yeah.
And that's a very delicious, very, very delicious way to have your dates. It's like a date barfi almost. But I want to hear from everyone which ones you think you would try.
I heard Sister Rabia, she's our other culinary expert. I don't see your camera on, Sister Rabia. If you can turn it on and share with us, I'm sure you are doing
No,
steps too.
just I stuff it with walnut or almond, and that's it. And
That's
maybe like what she said, her mom, she's doing. Yeah, but I don't put it in the oven. Just ground it and roll it balls, and on the pistachio or coconut or walnut or anything like this. That's it.
That sounds
Very,
delicious.
very easy thing.
I
Yes,
like the idea of coconut. That sounds good.
yes, coconut, even fresh coconut. Fresh coconut in a date is delicious.
Yeah.
Absolutely delicious and very cooling. The reason I didn't demonstrate any dates with walnuts and almonds is even though I love both those nuts dearly, I am severely allergic to them.
Yeah.
I was not, but I used to love eating walnuts. And so actually this particular date that I made with the pecans and the maple syrup, walnuts would be a better substitute than the pecan, even though I love pecans, but walnuts paired with maple syrup and mascarpone would be the best combination for this specific date. So please, if you tried with walnuts, let me know. I'd love to know from the dates that I demonstrated, which one was your favorite one?
All of them.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna try the one with the dukkha.
Dukkha, yeah, that is very interesting.
I'm telling you, ladies, this dukkha is a game changer. I'm not sure if any of you have ever tried it, but I've been buying this dukkha now for 4 or 5 years from Trader Joe's. You don't get it year round. You have to keep an eye on it. And when it comes, I'm not kidding, I usually buy 3 or 4 containers and I freeze the balance because it freezes very well. It's so, it's delicious in salads, on labne, on yogurts. It just enhances the flavors of so many things.
Which section do we get that?
In the spice section.
The spice section. Okay.
Yes,
That's
the
it.
spice section.
This one has za'atar inside.
No, it does not. It's not a za'atar one. No.
Yeah, because dukkha is za'atar usually.
Yes. So I think from different Middle Eastern countries they have different ones. Like in Saudi Arabia, the dukkha doesn't have any za'atar in it. The Medina blend, which is the one, this is the one that they serve in the haram. It comes in a little pouch with a specific name. This one here doesn't have any za'atar. This one actually, the ingredients is just coriander, cumin, salt, lemon, black pepper, black salt, a little bit of wheat and roasted sesame. This one is for Medina. This is delicious. The flavoring is very unique. It doesn't have any za'atar in it. So I think different regions have different ones. And so these 2 options, they don't have any za'atar in it, which I kind of like because I like to keep my dukkha separate from my za'atar, separate from my sumac. But that's just me. I know everybody's different, but this is very, very delicious. This particular one. Please do, lady. If you try it, let Zainab know so she can tell me and I know that you tried this dukkha because it's absolutely delicious.
Well,
I have never tried one with the orange rind. That looks very interesting.
So this particular date, I'm not sure if any of you have heard of the company Batil Dates from Dubai. So this is one of their signature date flavors. And I tried it many, many years ago when my son was a baby. So he just turned 14. So 14 years ago, I tried this date and I remember thinking, what an unusual way to pair, an orange, candied orange with a date. It's very simple, but packed with flavor. So I highly recommend you try these.
You know, my grandmother used to serve dates warm, like you said, like little warm, and she used to put almonds and melted butter.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, that's amazing.
It tastes so good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Melted butter or ghee would be like clarified butter is just
ghee.
Yes, absolutely. Please share which other ones you liked. I would love to hear from everyone. What flavor combinations you thought you think you might try. The spicy together with the cool is very unique. Please try the spicy cashews with the coconut, with the cucumber and the mascarpone. This is delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get dukkha.
Yes.
I'm gonna go get dukkha.
I'm gonna try the dukkha one too. I have to go to Trader Joe's for that.
Yes.
I seen it at Trader Joe's and I was wondering what people would use it for. And now here we
Now
go.
you know.
Yep.
Yes. Now you know. And once you open it and you've tried it, you'll know exactly what to use it in, because that's how so many things are. Once you get a taste, you're like, oh, I could use it in this. Oh, I could use it in that.
Yeah.
Really just fennel and nuts. And I mean, those are flavors that we use in so many things, you know? So once you open it, you'll realize, oh, I can sprinkle this on anything. It's like fairy dust.
Sister Hakika, you were asking yesterday, were you surprised today with any of the ingredients that?
Oh,
you weren't
yes.
expecting?
Well, I was wondering which of the different ingredients you have, how would they ship? I mean, would I send the jar and have the person make it up themselves and just tell them about it? Or because I'd love to send it out as a gift.
Where would you be sending it to, Sister?
Northern California.
Okay, so years ago, I used to make date boxes for people. The one with the mascarpone, the maple syrup, and the date. If you bake that date, the way I explained to you, for 10 minutes and 350 degrees, it stays that way for a while. And so you can make up all the dates that you liked, the one with the candied oranges, the one with the rose petals and the rose jam, the one with the, I think for long distance shipping, anything that doesn't get bad quickly would be best, would be the candied oranges. If you bake the maple syrup and mascarpone with pecan, and you do the rose jam one, you could definitely send that and ship it out. But the other ones, if you wanted to, you could just send everyone the ingredients aside from the mascarpone and the pomegranate, and have them just pick that up, you know. And if you want, I could take a picture of the spread that we have.
Okay.
And Zainab can share it with everyone. That way you could share this with whoever it is you're going to be sending it to, so they know how to make it up.
Okay.
Fiona,
Thanks.
for sure, please do send me a picture after the end of the session. So I'll add it at the end of the video for sure.
So
But
I
the
can show you.
jalapeno is also from Trader Joe's?
Yes, this is also from Trader Joe's.
Those are so tasty. We love
They're
those.
so tasty.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, ladies, it's like, it's just unique. It's like, you know, putting it in your date. I know it seems really unusual, but it's something that you're really going to enjoy.
You could find it in any market, like Stater Brother and Ralph.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, even French's, you know, you get those French's crispy onions.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
could try that as a substitute. But the reason I liked this is because it has a little bit of a kick. And I like the idea of, you know, a little bit of spice and a little bit of savory. But
Are they very spicy?
no, they're not. They're not at all.
Okay.
Not for you, but for others. Yeah.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Maybe not for others. No, for me, they're not spicy. They're just delicious.
Fiona, do you try anything with little sourness like lemon juice or vinegar or anything else like chili sauce?
I've never tried that on my date, but I would put, I have tried lemon zest, which is delicious. So that would be something that you can definitely try. It's adding some lemon zest. I've never, I mean, the pomegranate molasses would be sour and tart. And that would be delicious. I would try that because the sweetness of the date would offset the tartness of the molasses. And I think that would be delicious. Absolutely delicious. And like I said, add some mascarpone cheese and it's even better.
Everything's better with mascarpone.
Everything's better with mascarpone and dukkha.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Assalamu alaikum. You were mentioning
Walaikum salam.
you were mentioning allergies. So do you have a substitute that would be kind of for the mascarpone for people that are trying to avoid dairy, but it will be kind of on the creamy side though?
So I've never tried anything as a substitute, but I would think that cashew cream or any one of those, I would think cashew cream would be a great substitute
Okay.
to mascarpone. But if you're allergic to nuts, then that's, you know, a different story. But I know people that usually have like a lactose intolerance, and I'm not a dietitian by any means. I'm sure Zainab would be able to answer this question much better. But I know that sometimes if you have a lactose intolerance, which I have an intolerance to milk because it makes my stomach queasy, but I'm able to digest yogurt, and I'm able to digest labne, because labne is packed is a kefir cheese packed with probiotics. So it's much lighter on the stomach. So if you are not able to have mascarpone, you should try the labne. I mean, Zainab would be able to tell you more, but this might be a good substitute for that too.
Yeah, any type of aged cheeses or
For
fermented
some-
products.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Or coconut cream, maybe.
Someone
Coconut
else.
cream. Yeah.
What's that?
Coconut cream.
Oh, okay, yeah, coconut cream, yeah.
Coconut cream is now a whole nother flavor pairing. We could have a whole nother hour on coconut.
Pineapple and coconut.
Yes, we could do a whole bunch of pairings just with coconut. It's absolutely delicious. So if Zainab is happy, if you're happy to have me back, we could do a whole nother hour just on coconut.
Yeah.
Fiona, the dates, the type of dates you used today were all Majdoul dates, correct?
Yes, these are all Majdoul dates. I have this bag that I was gifted. It's a premium Majdoul, but I mean any type of delicious Majdoul. I like Majdoul dates in specific because of the sizing. Also, Majdoul dates are not very hard. They're softer, and so they're easy to separate. You know, they're easy to deep it, and because of their soft nature, they're able to. You can caramelize them if you bake them, or they pair well with the flavorings. You know, if you take a very hard date, like a daglet noor date is pretty hard, or ajwa is equally tasty. Those are delicious dates. But I think when you're making stuffed dates, the best date to use is
Yeah,
a
yes.
Majdoul date. The best date.
Mhm.
And also for your smoothies, if you're making smoothies or shakes.
Yes.
That's what.
God, they sound so delicious.
Thank
I'm
you.
all
Yeah.
proud.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Jazakallah khair, everybody. I hope that you, each one of you at least makes one of the dates that I shared with you today. And if you do, please keep me and my family in your du'as. I mean, I'm so honored to be able to share my date recipes with you during this blessed month. And I hope that you make these recipes and you share them with your family and you enjoy them and you love them for many, many years to come, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, Jazakallah khair.
You're most
May Allah
welcome.
accept everybody's dua and everybody.
Ameen. Ameen. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Where did you buy the rose petals?
So the rose petals, actually, this particular one, I got them from Super Irvine. Super Irvine has a very nice, fresh selection of rose petals right before you exit, where they have the chocolate rock candy. And I'm not sure what else they have, but they have a very nice, fresh selection of dried rose petals. And I freeze my rose petals and they last for months.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
You're most
We'll
welcome.
definitely try something.
Absolutely. Please let us know. Take a picture and share it with us.
Yeah, I kind of missed it, so I'm going to look into it again with your recipes.
Okay, sure. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask. That's
Sure.
totally fine.
My plan is to make one type of date for the next 7 days, and then
Okay.
that way I don't have to pick and choose. If I make all of them at the same time, then I'll feel a little, you know.
You have to
homesick.
eat 7. Yeah.
Yes, I'll have to eat 7. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, if you're filling the dates, like, so for example, with this one, with the cucumber and the mascarpone, I would recommend putting the mascarpone cheese and the cashew nuts on, and then put the cucumbers on the side. Like I have a bowl of cucumbers sliced. I mean, you can make up a few so your family knows how to have them. But once you put the cucumbers in, you have to take them out if you have any leftovers. But just with the mascarpone and the cucumber, this will stay for at least a week or 2. It'll be fine in the fridge. And if you bake it up with the mascarpone, you don't even have to keep it in the refrigerator. It'll stay for a week or 2 without being refrigerated. Yeah.
We eat the dates and cucumber every day, but today I'm gonna try with cream and some because I have agave at home, so maybe agave syrup and I'll
Oh,
try.
yes, with the agave, absolutely, absolutely. And another very interesting fruit to have with dates, and it's also sunnah because it's cooling, is watermelon. So any type of melon, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ loved melons. So any type of melon, whether it's cantaloupe or honeydew or watermelon, paired with your dates, together with the mascarpone, even with the cucumbers, you're covering all the sunnahs, ladies. So make an intention with following the sunnah of our beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Revive a sunnah, and inshallah you'll be rewarded in that way too. Many rewards, many benefits by simply eating a date.
Which reminds me, the one that I've seen in the past is apricots, right? Like dried
Yes.
dried fruit.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
a common one.
That's a very common one. And if you are going to be buying apricots, I highly recommend you get Turkish apricots. You can purchase them from Sprouts or even from Amazon. Has very fresh, foil sealed Turkish apricots are the best.
Yes.
So not from Trader Joe's?
Not well, if Trader Joe's has them and you don't have an option, then I would say go with the Trader. Most likely Trader Joe's has apricots from Turkey. You never know.
Harvest Choice, they have it from Turkey.
Yes.
Okay. And can you mention the orange rind that you mentioned? Can you show that again, or what it's
Yes.
exactly called?
If you want, I could share the link.
Okay.
I could share it with you, Zainab. If you're not able to get the several oranges from Spain from the link that I sent you, you can buy them from any health store, Sprouts, or any store that sells dried fruits. They always have a candied orange option. And any of those candied fruits, candied ginger, candied lemons, candied figs, even fresh figs with dates pair beautifully. Beautifully. Yes.
All right. All right, Olivers, any last minute questions before we end? We are going to be ending a little earlier than usual, which is fine. Gives you 10 more extra minutes to go and grab that mascarpone.
What would you recommend? I've actually found that I can only eat one date at a time because the back of my mouth gets itchy.
Okay.
And I noticed, but I don't remember which dates don't cause that for me.
Ajwa. The Ajwa dates, have you tried the Ajwa dates?
No.
So the Ajwa dates are known, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has mentioned specifically the Ajwa date for healing, for Shifa, and you should eat them in odd numbers. I actually do have a bag of Ajwa dates that I can show you that actually come from the orchard that was taken care of by Salman Farsi radiallahu anh, from Medina. Those dates are known for healing. I can even share the ayah with you, or perhaps Zainab has the ayah or the hadith that mentions about those dates. So my father-in-law is severely allergic to dates. He actually begins to swell, and his eyes swell up, and his windpipe starts closing. And one of the ladies, Auntie Nigar, Auntie Assalamu alaikum.
Okay.
She said that they carry Ajwa dates. You should try that, Sister Hadra. That you might be pleasantly surprised. But please exercise.
This is Ajwa from Costco.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Ajwa. They came from Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Oh,
Very
mashallah.
nice.
Costco
Yeah.
they have. Costco
That's
they have.
awesome. Ajwa dates are very good for healing.
Yeah. But
maybe you
it's
should try
black.
those.
It's dark. Very dark.
Yes. It's a much smaller date.
Yes.
It's rounder in size. It's almost black in color.
Oh, okay. I've seen those.
And
Yes.
it's very tasty. It's also quite soft. You could absolutely stuff those dates with any one of these pairings. Would be delicious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shukran,
The fresher they
Jazakallah.
are, the softer they are. The more
Yes.
fresh ones are the softer ones.
Yes.
Okay. Shukran.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Jazakallah khair.
Wa yakum.
All right. Any last minute questions? All right. Thank you, Fiona.
Thank
Always
you,
a pleasure to
Fiona.
have you.
Jazakallah khair.
And
Thank you
then
so much. Jazakallah khair for having me, everybody. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Please keep me in your du'as, and I hope to see you all again soon, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Inshallah.
Olive Community Services is a 501c3 nonprofit organization based in Southern California that provides culturally appropriate services to seniors, their family, and the community. Through its physical and virtual interactive programs, Olive engages participants in a variety of ways that promotes health and well-being. To learn more about Olive Community Services, to get involved, or to make a donation, please visit www.olivecs.org or email info@olivecs.org. Be a change maker, and together, let's live, learn, and thrive.